to another live. Thanks for being here. Oh, give me a second here. I gotta mute my own iPad. Forgot to do that. You think I haven't been doing this for a year. Anyway, thanks for being here. As you guys all filter in, just gonna say hello to a couple people that are here watching and then tell you what's coming up. And then I'll get my lovely guest to introduce herself. So we're gonna say hello to Annie Bear. Hello, Annie Bear. And she says, hello, Claire. All right. So we got some stuff coming up. So the next show is on June 8th. So it's a bit of a different change because normally shows are on Monday. It's actually going to be on Sunday. So Sunday, June 8th, and it's going to be at 7 p.m. And it's because we're actually doing a live Reiki demo. So I'm going to kind of go through, I have a friend that's coming. And we're going to basically go through what a Reiki session is like. So you guys can come bring your questions to that. Then after that, the next one is going to be June 23rd. We have the lady that did the Fairy Orb Intuitive Jewelry. She's coming back for a part 2. So if you guys remember her, she's going to be coming back. We're going to have more of a discussion about what she does. And then in July, both of the shows in July are going to be on Sundays at 2 p.m. because of the way holidays are falling this year. And then the first show in August as well will be on a Sunday at 2 p.m. So yeah, so if nothing else, like, subscribe, set the notification thing, and then you won't miss it. And with that, I will get Claire to introduce herself. Tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and then we'll get into the discussion.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate you inviting me. My name's Claire Clough. I am, my practice is called OTTAWA Community Energy Healing. I do energy healing, shamanic, as well as Usui Reiki, sound healing, which is what we're going to dive into tonight, and biofield tuning, which is kind of like a sub of sound healing. Yeah, I've been doing sound healing for I've actually had to think about it earlier, for almost 4 years, officially, I'd say. Unofficially, probably 2 or 3 years longer than that. I used to work for a retreat center out in Wakefield, and so I was exposed that way. When you're surrounded by all of this, you get curious. So I was doing admin for them, and then whenever trainings would come up, I'd sign myself up and I'd join and I'd learn and connect and network with people. And so that's how I got started. And then I started taking other courses and trainings. I mentioned this during our Reiki share before, but one of my teachers is Rebecca White-Raven. I took her Sacred Sound Healing course, which was absolutely amazing. I learned quite a lot in that. It's a 4-month intensive program. So that was really great. And also just learning through doing it, learning through experience, and just, trying things out, being experimental, having fun with it. There's no boundaries to sound healing, really. So it's a really fun and really exciting thing to be offering.
So Lois popped in. She says, hi, Kaylee and Claire. And then Annie Bear was saying that she's been listening to various Hertz music, enjoying the benefits. So she says, especially 285 for pain. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool. So, there you go. Is there a sound that's particularly shielding?
Shielding. I think we were just talking about before we even came on, like thinking about, because certain sounds will mean or feel different for different people. So I always try and imagine, like, if there's a certain emotion or certain feeling that I want to feel or let go of or release, I try and think of what that might sound like. So shielding, funny enough, just got that drum, which is a shield drum. So drumming can be very effective for shielding, for sure. So I'd say if you're looking for shielding, maybe think about drumming, something that feels like it's coming from the inside out. So you're pushing outwards with that sound. Some sounds feel very like they're a little bit more clingy, or they kind of come more into your body, as opposed to some feel like they're kind of coming out or wrapping around. So that could be really useful.
So she was saying 428 to clear the aura, and then the 528 to clear and uplift home. So maybe trying to do that with your drum. I know, yeah, she was just like, I have drums. I know she has a beautiful drum that she's played a couple of times. And Maruta popped in there too. She says, hi, Claire and Kaylee. Hi, all. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about sound healing, feel free to put them in the comments and I'll star them. I listen to chakra healing frequencies while falling asleep at night. I do the same thing. Yeah. Especially where your brain starts going into like that sleep state. I feel like it's almost more like the sound and the frequency will be more able to come in versus having to like filter through our thinking brain.
Yeah, your brain goes into that theta state, right? So that rest and digest, that sort of more relaxed state, almost right before. Like, it's when I'm doing sound baths or sound healing for people, I like the feedback when I hear that people are almost able to go into that part of right before they fall asleep.
Yeah.
So they're not really engaging with anything that's happening in the space in the room. So they might like hear their house creak a little bit or the wind outside, but they're not like following a narrative or a story for that. It's just they're able to totally feel everything come up and everything flow out. So for sure, playing music or playing different frequencies as you're falling asleep is fantastic.
Well, I know at the sound bath that you did, where you're saying like people snoring is actually a compliment.
Yeah. I definitely take it as a compliment, because if someone's able to feel that safe in a space with me and able to just have the sounds wash over them and just totally accept, and welcome the different sounds, that's amazing to me. So I don't take snoring as a compliment in any of my sessions or any of my sound baths that I do.
And he was asking as well, is there a sound that calls in like angels, for example? Or would it be like specific to our guides?
Yeah, there would be some probably more specific to your guides. But I actually like to use angel tuning forks in a lot of my private sessions. So that's actually one of the things I was going to show tonight.
Okay.
So I have angel tuning fork set. There's a set of 3. I'll play it and then we can see.
Yeah. Oh, that was a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, back there. Perfect. Yeah, we're good. There's gonna be a lot of trial and error here, guys, tonight with the sound.
It's quite a high frequency. So you're talking about like your crown chakra, your third eye, like some of your higher chakras in your energy field. Those are ones that you're going to be able to help your connection outwards, right?
Okay.
So being able to access things like angels, guides, spirit or animal totems, things like that. Those higher frequencies are really helpful.
So you're talking about like sound healing or sound baths. Like, are they the same thing? Is there a difference? Like, are they?
The difference for me is sound healing is more of the modality. A sound bath or a sound journey is even the environment you're receiving it in. So a sound bath or a sound journey, to me, like a sound bath, when I do big group work, like I do at the community center here, how we met.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more of for me, it's more of a sound bath. A sound journey or a sound journey would be more of like a private session. Okay. But they're interchangeable, really. It's really, that's just how I sort of think about it or label it in my head. But it's all kind of interchangeable.
Cool. So so we're going to do a lot of show and tell tonight. I think is going to be a part of it. So Claire, I asked her to bring in a couple of her instruments, show them off, tell us a little bit about them. I have a couple of my own here too, that we can show off. So if you wanted to go ahead and kind of show us what you got.
Yeah. Well, I'll lead with this disclaimer. I did just get back from a sound healing shopping trip this weekend down in Southern Ontario, in Grimsby, Ontario. So I have some new family members to show off.
As Gerald would say, purchase responsibly. Know your limits.
I will say that the store I went to, the sound healing or the sound Journey store was absolutely amazing. The woman, Denise, who has the store, it's out of her house. It's all private shopping, so you can go there and you can try all these different instruments and not have to worry about, are there other people in the space? You can really just connect with the instruments and the energy. So it was a beautiful experience. So highly recommend that store. Okay, where do I want to start? Let's start with the rain disc.
Sure. Yeah.
So this is, they come in all different, you can get them in different casings and things like that, but this one is wood. And so you'll hear it as you spin it. You'll hear all these different beads sort of filtering through. So there's little pieces on the inside. You can hear that okay, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's perfect.
Awesome. So this could, for like, if you close your eyes and you're just listening to the sounds, a lot of people might associate this with like a creek or some running water, or yeah. Does anybody, like, even in the comments, you can put when you close your eyes, what are you
hearing? Yeah, it's kind of like a rain stick anteater.
Yeah. Similar idea. So if you've also ever heard an ocean drum, so this you play kind of, you spin it, but an ocean drum you would play like this. So it's a similar concept. It's just how the beads and the different pieces on the inside are put. But again, yeah, it sort of creates that water sound, or what a lot of people would associate with water.
So I was going to show you guys. I actually made this like a weekend or so ago. So this is actually a rain stick that I made homemade. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on this stuff. You can make your own kind of sound healing stuff. So all this is a tube. So this one's from like Saran wrap from like Costco. And then nails. So these are little like carpet tacks. And then all I've put into it, you can kind of see it there, is dried couscous and lentils. And then it makes the noise. And it basically is stuff you'd already have in your house. So this is like a tiny one that I made. And then I do also have a bigger one. So this one's a little bit louder. But yeah, so that gives you kind of examples of, they all kind of do a similar thing.
Yeah.
A little bit different too. So.
Yeah. Menamaru was just saying the beads are loose in an ocean drum, and that is true. Yes, so there's nothing sort of obstructing or for the beads, or in a lot of ocean drums, like ball bearings that are kind of going around.
Yeah.
But you're totally right. So you don't need to spend like a whole bunch of money on like instruments or anything like that. There's so many things you can make at home to do sound healing or sound baths, if that's something you want to offer. In my training, or in one of my trainings, we spent like 2 or 3 hours just going through our practitioner's kitchen, and she was like, you have to do a whole sound bath with anything, like whatever you can find here. That was one of our projects that we had to do. So you don't have to have like crystal bowls or like a big beautiful drum or anything like that. Like you can do it with anything. And also, one of the sort of jokes one of my good friends Jennifer and I have is, like, at a sound bath there will be sounds. Like, there will be all sorts. Yeah, there will be all sorts of sounds. It again doesn't have to be from a crystal bowl or a specific instrument that you buy.
Like, I know, like, you will use stuff like this in your sound bath. So like this, for example, is from a flower arrangement I got for my birthday, and it's just dried leaves, but it can sound like wind blowing in a tree.
Yeah. A lot of people will ask me during a sound bath, because I do have my own set of leaves that I've collected from nature. They will sort of come to you afterwards and they'll be like, what was that leaf sound? leaves. You know, like it can be so simple just like that.
Right.
So yeah, again, it doesn't have to be any fancy instrument. You can do it with the things in your house. And the other thing I'm also trying to incorporate more is my voice and my breath. So you are your biggest instrument. So singing or humming or doing different rhythms with your breath is really helpful for a lot of people. I find when I use my breath or I use my own voice, it gives other people permission to do the same so they can relax into their breath more. I'll even hear people take that big breath with me. And a lot of the times different rhythms or different octaves in your voice also resonate for different things. So happiness, fear, grounding, love, all sorts of things.
Like that, put some sand or beads in a jar. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd basically be like a rattle. So show us something else, Claire. What else do you got?
Okay. So I will play. This is my steel tongue drum. I also like to call it a fairy drum because I often like to take it outside into the woods and play it.
Oh, nice.
So sometimes I'll call it my fairy drum, but this is in the key of C, so that often is associated with the root chakra. So your grounding, your safety, security. So I'll just play a little bit here. Can you hear that?
So
okay?
pretty. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, this is one of my favorites. I have a really small one, not as small as yours.
Yeah. Here, I'll show everybody.
So
this is a teeny tiny one. No, saying that $20 on the Zon of Amma. And it's just a little.
Those ones are really fun too because you can put them on your front porch, and then when the rain hits it,
I've heard people do that.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
So yeah,
kind of like equivalent to a wind chime a little bit. Different.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. So I love that. I do a lot of work in the key of C. Like a lot of my instruments are in the key of C. Because in my private sessions, like I really try and work on foundation with people, and so working in their root chakra a lot, in their sacral chakra as well, is really important. So a lot of my instruments are in the key of C.
And that's really interesting. Like as you're saying, like C is grounding. So basically, I guess the sound bath and sound healing is working with the frequencies in the body for the different chakras, right?
For sure. So I mean, not all of my instruments are in C, but a lot of them are, just because I do try and focus a lot on that. But for sure, different instruments. I mean, they all work in different frequencies. They all emit their own different frequencies. So it's paying attention to those subtle differences, subtle shifts.
Well, you were saying like the angel ones. You're saying like were those higher chakras, so they're going to be a higher sound, a higher ring versus. We were playing with one of your other chimes earlier, the weighted one that's like super low in comparison. So it's very, very grounding in comparison to that one.
So it's marketed as what's called a low ohm fork, but I don't try and pay attention really to how things are marketed necessarily. I'm more looking at the frequency. So this is a 68.05 hertz. It's good. It's going to be hard to hear, but I think we came up with a way to hear it. So I'll play it. And then maybe people can leave in the comments like what they feel or what they hear and what sort of resonates for them when it comes through.
Love it.
Yeah. So it is a really low fork. It's definitely much much easier to hear or feel in person, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You laugh at me when you use it.
Yeah. It's a beautiful fork.
Yeah.
It came to me in a medicine journey I was on, and it just really spoke to me.
Yeah, it's really interesting when she uses it, guys, like especially when you've been using it along with Reiki and stuff like that, because you'll do it where you'll hit it and then you'll put it on the different parts of the body and then just watch the body react. It's kind of like, the doctor hitting your knee to get the reaction. It's the same thing. It's so it amuses me too equally, actually, but
yeah, sometimes you'll see like that twitch or that sort of like the body flicker almost. Sometimes you'll have that like very like giggly sensation, or some people like cough, but it's just that release, right? Your body's able to, like, whatever the frequency is that I'm using, that feedback is telling me that your body's able to process. It's connecting, it's able to meet that frequency. So that's always a good sign.
Well, and Annie Bear was asking, like, do people often see color when you play?
Oh, yes, most definitely. So a lot of the things that will happen during a sound bath when you're receiving and experiencing one are visuals. So that can be colors, that can be memories, that can be different scenarios playing out, like narratives that are coming up. It can be emotion. So a lot of times people will have an emotional reaction or release. So that can sometimes be tears, laughter, even like grinding their teeth. Like some of those more physical things might come up. You might feel different sensations in your body. Your body might change temperature. So you might go from cold to hot or hot to cold, or you're just swinging either way. You can totally feel like you're just leaving your body, or you're hovering over your body, or even below your body. That is often what I feel is it's almost like I can leave my physical body, not like be floating around somewhere totally crazy, but I'm just kind of not in my body the same way as I am when my eyes are open and I'm, interacting. So all sorts of things can come up.
And then Maridad asked, have you ever heard of a fairy ball? It's a little silver ball that rings when you roll it or shake it. And then Annie Bear, that's right, go ahead.
I have heard of those, and I did play, I don't know if they called it that, but I did play one this past weekend, actually. That sounds very similar to that.
Well, then Annie Bear says, I have a silver egg that makes noise when shaken or rolled, and that made me think of, so you have one as well, but we use it a lot in like shamanic stuff or in shamanic work. But it's just like a little, like this one's wood, of course, but it's just a little rattle. Almost like a baby rattle, actually. But yeah. So I don't know if yours is similar, Annie Bear, but let me see. Have I missed anything else while we were talking there?
Oh, I see one. I had a friend years ago who could taste colors. That's very interesting.
That's interesting. That is interesting.
What does the color orange taste like? It's very cool.
Hi, Lauren. Thanks for popping in. Right. I say next instrument, next fun thing. This is just as fun for me as you guys.
Yeah. So this is a new family member as well. This is my Himalayan bowl that I just got. This is in the G frequency. So I'll play it for you guys. Wait, I just want to make sure. This one it's going to be louder, so I want to play a little bit further back. Good. Okay. It goes for quite a long time.
Yeah.
You can also play, they're not as easy to play like like this. This isn't the right
no. Well, here, I can show it with mine if you want.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So this one is for the heart chakra. So feel too, like when we're playing these instruments, maybe where you're feeling them in your body, because it'll be different for everybody. But
is that your heart chakra one?
Yeah. And I mean, it does sound different doing it around versus, like the hitting it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So the Himalayan bowls, they're not as easy to play, okay. They're easy to play by hitting them. They're not easy to play by, what's the word I'm looking for? By rolling on the outside with a mallet, with a particular mallet. Also depends on the type of mallet.
And I was going to say too, like these ones, like ours, I think are made out of like brass or some kind of metal. Versus you also see like the crystal ones. Are they same, different, same kind of idea?
Yeah, so the crystal ones, you can hit them just like I did with this one. But a lot of the times people will play them by going around the top. There's all sorts of different mallets you can use. A lot of them come with these like suede mallets. I absolutely detest those. I find I can hear it scraping against the bowl and it really bothers me. It pulls me out of my own like zone when I'm in it. I feel like it's just disturbing for people, but that is often the type of striker or mallet that will come with them. But they have like these silicone rubber ball ones. Those are really popular.
Good to know.
I often, though, when I'm playing or doing a sound session or sound bath, I often have my eyes closed for a lot of it. And so you can sometimes scrape the edge, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because, again, there's all sorts of sounds and they're all going to elicit different things. And so sometimes to me, when that happens, it's almost like I've reached the boundary for some people. That's where the edge is. And so I just become aware of it. I don't try and take it as anything bad. But I do also have like it's a piece of like a tube of plexiglass almost, and it's got silicone on it. And so the silicone is a little bit longer. So it's easier to play when I have my eyes closed and I'm more focused on the sound and less of what necessarily is going on. So I will use that one a lot. I also, this one, so this is, it's got a rubber ball on the inside and I've covered it with felt. To sort of soften the sound. So sometimes when I'm playing the bowls with other instruments at the same time, I'll just hit them with this and it just creates like a soft background of that frequency so I can play other instruments and not have it all just kind of like be really overwhelming. But I also use this one on the steel tongue drum. So you can use like you can interchange mallets or strikers and things like that with different instruments. But I find putting the felt on them, or even for like my gong, this is my gong mallet, but I'll put like a sock or something on it, and it just softens the sound a little bit. So it just depends on the energy or what I'm feeling for that session. But you can use different strikers and mallets for things.
And do you find like the sound bath and the sound healing is a lot like with Reiki? Like we talk about like as Reiki practitioners that when we're giving Reiki, we're also receiving. So do you find the same thing with like the sound healing stuff that even though you're maybe giving it to somebody else, you're also getting the benefits of it?
For sure. I find even sometimes when I'm really in a good space with it, I can feel sometimes some of my own stuff coming up, or even after a session, I'll be like, I've sort of done some of my own traveling in the sound and I'm like have to journal afterwards or just kind of realign myself almost.
So I thought I'd show you Annie Bear's comment because you do have a cat. So I was wondering if you had this experience with the sound healing.
So my cat is what they call a scaredy cat. So he doesn't like any of the really loud or super strong sounds like the bowls. He's like the crystal bowls I have, he's not a big fan of. I haven't tested out the Himalayan bowl on him yet. He does like the chimes. The crispy chimes, he's cool with that. I have actually before. He a few years ago he was really sick over Christmas time, and we had him home and he was on medication. He was still feeling pretty lethargic, and I thought, what the heck, I'll do some biofield tuning on him and see how he reacts to some of these frequencies. And it I thought it really helped him.
Cool.
So he's good with that. But yeah, any of the loud sounds, he's not. The gong for sure. He's like, I'm out. But yeah, some of those where it's more of a like the tuning forks, the weighted ones are more vibration than hearing, unless
Right.
you have them right by your ear. So I think for him specifically, he prefers more of those low vibrations that he feels in his body.
I guess it'd be similar with like a purr, right? It would be similar to like a cat purr, right?
Well,
When Maria was just saying that you liked your idea with the mallets.
Yeah. They say, though, I don't know what the frequency is of a cat purr.
I can't remember.
Yeah, they say that it helps to heal like bones, like muscles in your body too. I remember when I was younger, my mom had fallen going to get the mail in the middle of winter, and she broke her ribs, and the cat we had at the time just wanted to lie on her side. And I remember her saying that the doctor said that like she healed way quicker than they thought she would. So it doesn't surprise me that a cat's purr or just even the frequency that animals give would help with you.
So, sound healing, get yourself a cat.
Yeah. There you go. You can just strike them.
With your hand, softly.
Yes. No big mallets.
I heard just a little bit while back there was talking about that she's heard about a forest bathing technique where you lay down in between massive cones and it focuses the sound of the forest into your ears. I mean, that would be similar to like a sound bath or whatever, I guess a little bit more natural, but
that's exactly what it is. Sometimes when I go for walks, I'm just like, this is its own sound bath, right?
Yeah.
Looking the wind through the trees, even cars going by, people talking.
Right.
I did a sound bath outside last year with my friend Jennifer, who I do a lot of work with, and you get the natural elements and you get these beautiful instruments combined, and it's just so magical. Like it elevates things when you have a lot of those natural sounds.
I think I'm actually excited because the one you're doing in, I think it's July, right? You're gonna hopefully be able to do it outside if the weather cooperates.
Yes, yes, that's the only unknown. But yeah, so every season I do a community sound bath at the Trent Arlington Community Center. And the summer one is going to be on July 6th at 7. And they've just built a beautiful pavilion outside. And it's hopefully going to be open. They said July 1st, and my sound bath's July 6th. So I'm like, fingers crossed. But it's going to be under the pavilion just to help contain the sound a little bit, but outside. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, here, you mentioned the Koshi chimes. So you have a set yourself, and you're actually, the reason I bought mine is because I heard them, I think, twice. And then I'm like, okay, yes, I have to get them because I was getting chills every time you played them.
Yeah.
So the Koshi chimes, the idea behind them is that there's one for each element. So you have earth, water, air, fire. And I got mine off of, again, Zonavama, but you may be able to find a local sound healing or spiritual shop that does sell them. I have seen them around. So I'm going to see if I can play them for you guys. What I love about these versus like your standard kind of just singular chime is that these actually play a melody. So the way that they work is there's tiny little like metal rods, I guess, that are in them that will play the different tones. So you can get more than one tone out of a single chime. So this one's earth. And let me know too if that's too loud and I need to hold them back further. So this one's water.
That was the first one I got. Yeah.
And what's really interesting is like playing them for people. There's certain ones that people like the most. And I don't know if it's just like the group of people I've interacted with so far, but it seems to be almost tied to their zodiac sign, which is really interesting. Like my favorite's the earth one, and I'm a Taurus.
That makes sense. I'm Aquarius, so technically I'm air, but I'm the water bearer. So
yeah. And then this one is air. And then the last one is fire. And what's really nice with these is that you can actually play even more than one at a time and kind of have them playing against each other. So I've been experimenting off and on with them. But for example, you can have like earth and then water.
And I find some play nicer together than others.
Yeah. It's really, really interesting seeing how they interact. But yeah, so those are Koshi chimes.
I love that. Cats in every octave.
Need that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. whole choir of them.
There. That's it. See, Virgo here. Love the air sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Koshi chimes are a lot of the times I'll use them to bring people into the session and also bring them out of the session.
Right.
I had a client a few weeks ago who she was like, I didn't even know how you were going to bring me out of that. Like there was no way that I was coming out of that. And she said, as soon as I started playing the Earth Koshi for her, she was like, whew, like came right back into her body. And so they're super powerful, even though they're not like a super strong instrument. They're not like abrasive like a gong might be, or a little bit more pushy like a gong might be. They're just super gentle and they really help. They're really good for guiding. So I'll also use them when I'm speaking or doing some guided meditation too.
Ooh, I haven't tried doing that yet. I've been using them right before as I kind of to get people in the mind space when I'm doing Reiki sessions. I'll play them right at the beginning of the Reiki session. I'll just walk around the table with each of them. But I might have to try the using them in a meditation. That would be interesting.
Yeah. So.
Oh, and then Maruta was saying that she has a lot of water in her chart. She's a Sagittarius, but
yeah.
And then Annie Bear was asking about like Pan, like the god Pan, but then as Maruta said, there's like Pan pipes.
Yeah. I mean, this is obviously not my whole collection.
No, I have lots.
I have too many to. I'd have to have like a whole. Yeah, I'd have to have a whole tour, which we could do. But me, I'm not a big wind instrument. Man, like it just personally for me, like I love when other people play them.
Yeah.
Me personally, they don't call to me to play myself. My friend Jennifer. She has like 3 different flutes and she plays like a whole bunch of wind instruments. And I'm like, I love receiving this, but like, it's just not something that calls to me personally, but they're
each of her own thing.
Yeah, pipes, flutes, all that it's awesome.
So what other goodies do you have to show us?
That's everything I have here, but if you give me 2 seconds, I will go and grab that drum that I got.
Yes, her brand new baby. You guys can't wait till you see this drum. It is absolutely beautiful and it sounds super awesome. I can't wait to see it. I'm going over on Saturday, so I get to meet it in person, but that's what we'll have to do for now.
It's definitely better in person, I'll say that. But I was not planning on getting a drum. This drum kind of just spoke to me. So it's got the element of fire on the front of it. Definitely, for sure. I feel like it resonates with the element of fire. I was also playing it for my husband last night, and he was like, it sounds very ominous, almost like a big rainstorm is coming or something like that. That was sort of like the narrative he was getting in his head when I was playing it. So it's very cool.
Yeah, it's like that grinding of like rock kind of under the earth, kind of, thunder, definitely, yeah.
And someone was asking about shielding before. It's a shield drum. So you can hold it like this and play it, or you can play it over someone. So yeah, very, very shielding. Hand drum or shield drum.
And he says interdimensional. Yeah, it is actually.
Yes.
Definitely feel that.
Yeah. Again, sound is always much better in person than over the internet, but
yes, of course,
because you get the vibration.
Well, and we've come to learn, like for example, over StreamYard it seems to work pretty good, but for example, Zoom, we have like I found through doing different things, music doesn't translate at all because it tries to block the background noise, and so the sound doesn't come through, which is annoying when you're trying to do things. But oh, there you go. She said it made me feel inner earth also. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thundery reverberation.
Thundery reverberation. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So I'm really looking forward to playing that one. Sorry. I'm really looking forward to playing that one at the community sound bath outside.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and it's the vibration too, because it's that oval shape. You can feel it just like go through your whole body, as opposed to like a more circular drum. It kind of just zeroes in on a particular spot. Yeah.
This is my little drum.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one is a deer hide. And I mean, you can get them synthetic, like synthetic material too, and that's going to affect the sound. So for example, with this one, I actually prefer to play it with my hands. It came with a mallet, but I prefer to just, versus you have the, to me, I just like having that kind of hand connection with it. But yeah, so again, like this doesn't take up much space. So if you're wanting, a drum, you can find something that's this size or even smaller if you're in an apartment or something like that. And kind of make your own sound bath with that as well. Oh, she's saying, make sure to sage the ground area and ground the area. I'm sure. I've never seen you setting up, but I'm assuming you kind of hold space.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have a whole sort of ritual I do before setting up for sound bath or a private session with someone. Definitely saging and just calling in my own guides as well as the guides of the person who I'm serving, and using different herbs, connecting with the different tools and instruments that I have. Especially for sound sessions, I like to go into the space and play them beforehand. So I don't just set them up and then once everyone gets there, start playing. I really like to play them in the space, sort of see how they're feeling that day. The instruments play different on different days. They have their own personalities.
They honestly do, yeah.
So I like to do that, playing in the space, getting to see how they're feeling that day, how loud they want to be or that they're able to admit at. But certainly saging and using different rituals like that.
So anybody was asking elk. No, it's actually it's deer hide, and it's actually from over in Quebec. So basically the next province over. It was about as close to home as I could get. So yeah, this one is made out of deer hide and then wood. So these are handmade by Indigenous people here in kind of the Ottawa, Quebec area. Oh, and then Maruda was saying about tincture bells, and I think that's the next thing on my list to get, because they seem to call to me. So there you go. There you go. I'm definitely needing a synthetic drum. Purchase responsibly.
Yeah. I won't mention how much that drum was, but drums can be quite a lot. I have a Remo Black Earth drum. Mm-hmm. That one was actually, for the size of it and like the sound it emits, it's actually quite a reasonable price. So that could be purchasing responsibly.
Yes, yeah. That's the thing with instruments too, right? You want quality. It's like, yes, you can go the cheapest route, but it's not always going to give you the best results. So you kind of have to find that middle point. Yeah,
and I'd say if you're going to spend that much, spend the time searching for the right instrument that really calls and resonates for you. Something I really liked about this sound trip or this sound shopping trip that we just went on is that it was private shopping, and we could listen to these instruments and just really connect with them, and hear them one at a time, and just feel and see and just experience all the beauty each of them individually has to offer. So it's really important to connect with your instruments, especially when you're spending a lot of money on them.
Right. Well, and I think that, especially with sound healing, it's how it makes you feel. It isn't necessarily like, as you said, you didn't go in there being like, I want a root one or a this one or that one. You said I went in and just listened and used that intuition. Because that's the big thing too. Even playing these, like the chimes, every time they're going to sound different because I'm just letting, I'm kind of just letting myself go and being like, okay, how do you want to be played today? And letting that instrument almost take the lead.
Yeah. Yeah. In sound healing or sound baths, sound journeys, there is no, like, you're not going in and playing a song.
Yeah.
You're not going in and playing a particular melody. It's not like turning on the radio and you're hearing, that particular song. You're going in there and you're really going, what emotions, what feelings, what elements, what experiences do you want to connect with, or what's going on with this person that I'm doing a session for, and how do they want to feel afterwards, and what sounds are going to elicit that. So it's never rehearsed. It's never planned out in advance. It's always on intuition and that connection you have with the people that you're serving.
Right. I love that. She's like, oh, never mind. Steel drums, much different. Yeah. And and as Annie Bear is reinforcing here, just like using that sound to shield and protect. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and to help us connect. I mean, we were talking about towards the beginning there, like listening to like frequency music to fall asleep to. Mm-hmm. It can help in meditation. Like I struggle myself just to like sit in silence and meditate, but listening to music of some sort, or even sitting, closing my eyes and playing my chimes while I'm sitting there, can help with meditation. So even if you guys, don't have somebody like Claire you can go to for a sound bath or sound healing, you can kind of make that own experience for yourself. As you said, go into your kitchen and get stuff, maybe have the solfeggio music in the background, mm-hmm. just to kind of aid in that, but you can kind of create your own little journey.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, I think they were talking about the tincture bells there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're really good for clearing space, energy. Yeah, they're really good.
I find a pair with dragons on them, but
yeah, they always have cool little designs on them, which is fun.
I didn't get to bring them home that day, but if they're there the next time I go, they're coming home. So do you guys have any more questions for Claire? As you heard at the beginning too, like she does, Reiki and all that kind of stuff as well. So,
yeah. I'll just say my practice is Ottawa Community Energy Healing. When I started my practice, I really wanted to make it accessible for people. Mm-hmm. And so I offer sliding scale pricing based on household income. So if you make a little bit more, you pay a little bit more. If you don't make as much, you pay a little bit less. And my hope is really just to really have it be a really warm and inviting and welcoming space, and not have the financial barrier be an issue for people. So my practice, I have my own clinic out of my house in Nepean.
It's beautiful.
And I do. Sorry.
It's beautiful. Your little setup. It's beautiful.
Thank you. And then sometimes I'll do small group stuff at the house here, but I also do the community sound baths and different events. And I'm also hoping to run this fall a 7-part sound bath series diving into each chakra. So it'll be once a month, location to be determined. But you can either come for the whole series. So it would be like throughout the winter, doing all 7. So each sound bath will focus on one chakra and the energy, mm-hmm. and how to tap into that, and what instruments can be used, or what sounds can be used. To go into that. Yeah.
Annie was asking if you could play the drum again. I'm assuming she meant the fire one.
I was going to say, which drum? But I can play it for sure.
Oh, Maruda was asking, do you record the sessions? Because if they aren't local to Ottawa, do you offer like distance versions?
So that's something I'm focusing on this summer, actually. So my husband actually went to college to be a sound engineer.
Oh, cool.
So I have an in-house person.
Yeah.
So, that is sort of my goal this summer, is to get some recordings done and maybe even be able to offer virtual sessions a little bit better with higher quality sound. So that should be coming soon.
Moira says, I didn't get notification. Oh no, go back and watch. It's been a really fun show. We're learning about sound healing today, and actually Claire is fairly local. Moira, I believe, is an arm prior. So
oh, perfect. Yeah,
the community ones she does every 3 months? Every 3 months?
Usually every 3 months. It's normally at the beginning of each season. So the last one we did is at the beginning of April, just after the spring equinox.
Yeah, you try and pair them up with like either full moons or one of those. Yeah.
Sort of tag on to something else, just because I like, really being in the energy of that season or that time.
And Annie just says, wishing you success.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll let you play the drum again here as we close out. Yeah. And with that, we'll wish everybody a good night. So the next show is on the 8th of June, which is actually a Sunday. And the reason we're doing it on a Sunday is I'm going to be walking you guys through what a Reiki session is like. So I have a friend coming who is going to play the role of a client. So bring your questions about Reiki and Reiki healing, and I will try my best to answer them for you. And then as far as July and August go, those shows are also going to end up being on weekends, just because of the way the holidays fall. But with that, I hope you guys have a great day, great rest of your night, and a great week. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye, everybody.